What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
and we're back at it to answer your questions in another installment of For the Greater
Wow!
This is a video series where we answer the questions of you, the viewer. If you want to ask us a question about Warhammer 40k, the lore, the game, whatever it may be, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those first. This question comes from George Hancock. Do people in the 41st Millennium have pets? They sure do.
Mm-hmm.
So the Imperium does have pets.
Yeah, so they've got these like armored dogs, what, cybermastiffs?
Cybermastiffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're most notably used by the Adeptus Arbitus, or Arbitus? Yeah,
Arbites.
Arbites, there you go. They're basically police dogs.
Yeah.
But just how, a police dog or a German Shepherd is, used within the police force now, it's also a pet at home.
That's right.
Not like the actual police dog is a pet, because it's not, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we get you.
They also have like Rough Riders. They have those lizard horse things that can also double as like horses, like your pets or whatever.
Yeah. There's also cyber eagles. The Inquisitor Cotias, on his model, he's shown with like an eagle on there. They also have what are those things called?
Golgi bodies.
There you go, Golgi bodies. They're usually next to the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, but there's a lot. There's a variety of different like alien pets, but also at the same time you have a lot of like dogs, cats, birds.
Even Xeno races have pets, like the Grix, the little cat for the Eldar.
Yep.
And orcs, they have what?
Squigs. You can call them pets. They're pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you know of any pet, comment down below. Next question. I have a question from Swin ABC. What is the eye found all over the Imperium? Like on the shoulder of the Emperor and on Horus's armor, and can be found on walls and ships and such. Oh, so what does the eye represent? The iconography of the eye? That represents the Illuminati. You're supposed to put it over your eye.
Hova.
What's Hova mean?
Isn't that what Jay-Z says?
I don't know. But, okay, so the eye is actually the Adeptus something telepathicus. No, navigator?
Yeah, it's something about like the all-seeing eye and all that.
But it's basically, it represents the Astronomica.
There you go.
So that is the beacon that guides all the psychic navigators when they're in the warp. It tells them where they're at and where they can try to find home, basically, just like a regular beacon. But that's what it represents, and it's used by the, I want to say Adeptus. Yeah, I think it's telepathica.
Sounds right.
But the Horus's eye, that's something completely different. Horus, that's his iconography. Once he got his legion and he turned them from the Luna Wolves to the Sons of Horus, the Horus eyes is his representation. You can learn more about it if you check out our 40 facts on Horus.
That's right.
This
one.
Yeah.
Maluchi Kui. What Xenos or Chaos army is good for beginners in 40k? That's good because usually when you hear a beginner army, it's always Space Marines or Vanilla Marines or this Marine. So what army would I say is good? Chaos, because they're essentially Space Marines. But if you're going towards a Xenos army, I'd say probably the Tau would be one of the easier ones to get into because...
He's biased.
Yeah, I'm biased. They're one of the better armies right now. Their start collecting box is actually really good for what it comes with.
It really is.
Yeah, and basically you could learn all the mechanics just by sitting back and shooting, and you'll never have to learn about close combat.
Yeah, and you won't have fun in the game, and nobody would want to play with you because you're a Tau player.
That's right.
My opinion would be Eldar. Kind of the same reason. Their box set is pretty good. They're top tier army, so you're not gonna
lose and be like, oh, I hate this game.
Yeah, which is really important when you first start playing, especially if you're playing because you want to play the actual game and you're not so much into the whole lore and everything.
Right.
Winning is a big part. playing an Eldar Xenos race is really good. And then if you don't care too much about winning, if you like the lore, do orcs, because orcs are extremely cheap.
Yeah.
You can build your own tanks, you can build your own war buggies, you need to buy the codex, but then after that, any vehicle you can make yourself. Or you can go to the local hobby store and buy like model tanks from like World War II or like planes and stuff like that, and you can model it yourself to make it orky, which is awesome. It really builds on your, or it builds a skill of like conversion and all that kind of stuff.
Make the army your own.
Yeah, so do what you want.
That's right. This one's by KevC00. I heard that the reason that Abaddon hasn't reached demonhood is because he doesn't want anything to do with Horus. Wait, what? Is because he doesn't want to do what Horus never did and become the emperor of mankind. Oh, so he doesn't want to be a demon prince because he wants to take over the emperor's position? Is that what you're trying to say? Because if so, that sounds... I mean, that could be correct. Because the emperor is like a human, or at least... What is he human?
Yeah, he's a human.
Yeah, he's a human. So I guess if Abaddon ascends to demonhood, that'll take away his humanity, even though he's a space marine. I don't know.
Have we done 40 facts on Abaddon?
Not yet.
When we do, we'll learn more. Kornsmachaler. How thick is the glass in your window? I notice you don't get the Zinchen color effect I've been forced to sit through lately. Having a Primarch acting on events is turning all the Spacebook activity up to 11. Not the Malice 11 either. Just regular too damn loud 11. So how thick is it? It's thick enough to prevent all warp energy from seeping in, and the reason it has like a golden little hue has to do with something we call the Astronomicon effect, because we are human and the Astronomicon is still searching, beaming through the warp and letting us know that we could always return home if we want to, but we ain't ready yet.
We ain't never ready.
Next question.
Colin Turner Todd. So the Space Marines have apothecaries, the Orcs have pain boys, the Imperial God have medics, and the Eldar have warlocks and mages and seers. Chaos, they have all the sorts of magic. The Tyranids just recycle their mortally wounded units, and the Necrons have their necrodermis. But what about the Tau? I can't find any lore on their healer units, medics, or overarching healing technology. Do they just sit there and hope to recover? Or what?
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good point.
There's a cast though that does that, isn't it? Isn't it the water? No, isn't it the earth cast?
Earth cast are the engineers, fire cast are the warriors, water cast are the
Diplomats?
No, the planes. Water cast are the diplomats, and then the air cast is the planes and stuff. So yeah, there's no healers. I'm just now realizing this after playing them for over 10 years.
But I think it's because like each different cast has different attributes to their biology, right? Because like you have the air cast who are super tall, and then you have the earth or the stocky fire cast. So I think they're medics within their own little subcategories.
There has to be. The closest thing I could even think about like having medics or like healers is in the war gear. They've got stimulant injectors, which gives them feel no pain, and they've got like iridium armor and stuff for more protection. So I don't know. It's a good question.
Jimmy Bobby. Are there any Tyranid plagues and viruses in the lore? It seems like a pretty effective way to wipe out a species putting up resistance. So Tyranids, whenever you think of Tyranids invading, you think of like the huge monsters crushing buildings and like burning cities. But yes, Tyranids are all over, right? So they release Tyranid bacteria and stuff like that that does really devastate an entire population. But you see that at the same time as the big monster Carnifex is crushing through buildings and destroying the military force. Would it be better for the hives or for the Tyranids themselves to conquer a planet through just viruses and stuff like that? I don't think so. I think it's easier if they just go in there, destroy everything, and then, like the previous question said, they just recycle themselves.
Right.
So even if thousands and thousands of Tyranid bio forms die, it doesn't matter because they just get recycled.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
This one's by the Dude 2552. How did you guys meet? Whew.
It was back in the day.
We were on the moons of Lorne 6. We were fighting a little Tyranid threat, or so I thought. And I ran out of ammo. And then one of the orcs was about to hit me with that freaking big claw that he's got. And orc just tumbled in and he caught it with his teeth. His teeth. So his mouth saved my life in more ways than one that night.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yep.
I dare say quite a romantic story. 7*77. Too many 7. What if Samurai Jack was in Warhammer 40k? How would he do in the universe? He would be dead.
Yeah, probably.
Because Samurai Jack was like just a normal man, and he when he finally got trapped by Aku and sent back or into the future, he was already old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he can't be a space marine, and he can't really join an Imperial Guard unit or anything, can he?
Well, if he wanted to, I guess. Yeah.
I think like in the grand scale he wouldn't be much, but he would be pretty devastating in like a Necromunda or a Armageddon type of
Right, like
scenario.
one on one, he's got it. He's got the sword of epicness. Maybe that's the sword that we need to kill chaos.
That would be pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any of the new episodes of Samurai Jack.
They're really good. I highly recommend them.
Next question.
This was by Phil Richards. When the Imperium, or any other faction, colonizes a new world, do they put in place any systems to stop the native ecosystems from collapsing completely? Or they deliberately screw it up in order to build it back up to the desired characteristics of that world?
All depends on what the world has been pre-assigned to be.
Mm-hmm.
If it's pre-assigned to be a pleasure world, they're going to try to not so much conserve what's there, but make it into the eyes of whatever planetary governor wants it to be. So like, if they want more rainforest, they'll change the climate for them to have more rainforests or what have you.
What's terraforming? That's the word.
Yeah. So do they really care about the ecosystem of a planet when they get there? Not really. The only thing that I could see is if like a magi biologist arrives there and says like, there's an organism in this planet that isn't found anywhere else, and it's good for the Imperium because of this. Let me go research it. And then the Imperium would debate and whatnot. But by the time that they say yes or no, the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Magi Biologist of them have already gone in there and started doing their business.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to remember the bureaucracy of the Imperium is even worse than like the extremes of today.
That's right. Chaos Poseidon. Will I be loved? Sorry, man.
Rhiannon Carter. Would you consider releasing your 40 Faction Greater Wall as a podcast for those of us who are always on the go? Yeah, we've talked about this maybe in the future once we figure out how to get a podcast going. How do you get a podcast?
I think you gotta contact the Tyranids.
Tyranids?
Yeah, they're like Tyranids, but they're more G, and they send over some pods and we cast over it.
We'll do that and then we'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
Lavarius E.L. He asks, if men of worlds are taken to become space marines, how do they keep up the populations if the space marines are sterile? Does the chapter require that they fuck 50 women before enrolling into the initiate program? Well, they don't take all the men. They take the fittest and the strongest. So there's still some men there. And also they gotta be young enough to become space marines. So if like you're a dude in your 30s, you're probably past your prime, you won't be a space marine, so you'll still stay on that planet. But screwing 50 women before you go, it ain't a bad thing either.
Orc boy, how do you feel of an orc if an orc steals Tau guns and battle suits as a squad, like loots it if they can get it. And I would love they do the models. So there's a lot of conversions of orcs stealing Tau stuff. Our chapter, what is it called? Army?
Yeah, our channel army, our One Mind Syndicate army, is a mixture of orc and Tau combined.
Yep, and I haven't put out a video for it yet because I'm working on the lore. But once it's out, you'll get to see the models, and you'll also get to see the story behind it.
Right. If you also want to see it, like a little sneak peek, we do have a battle report with that army being featured. I think it's the latest one, so check it out.
Yep.
We have a playlist with all our battle reports on it, so why not indulge?
Yep. Riley Dimilo. Which Loyalist Primarch do you think will be the most likely to come back, and which would you like to come back? Robo Gilliman, because he's already out.
Yeah.
I really want Vulcan to come back.
Yes, definitely Vulcan. Definitely he's one of my higher ones. But on top of Vulcan is Fulgrim.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But probably the next one out is either going to be Lehman Russ or the Lion. Maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Last question.
This one's by Old X Olik. I think that's how you say it. Would you like to see the Gothic Armada being brought back to life? Do you think it could be worked into the base game? If so, how?
Yeah, definitely. It could definitely be worked into the base game because you kind of like Battlefront, where you had these big planetary battles or space battles, and then you have the planetary battle.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You could have that in a campaign because that's what it seems like GW is gearing more towards. Like you have campaigns, so you can combine Armageddon rules, kill team rules.
Regular 40k,
and Armageddon.
And they also got rules for like dog fights. I forgot what they call.
Oh yeah, the dogfight stuff. Yeah. So the possibilities are endless. I would love to see that kind of stuff.
Everything going on in one big game. That'd be pretty epic.
Very epic.
Yeah. Thank you guys for all these questions. As always, don't forget to leave more questions down in the comments below so we could answer them next week.
Yep. We'll see you next week, guys.
As always, I'm the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
We are One Mind Syndicates, and we are out of here.